Terrific. All right. Well, for those of you that are just joining, we have about another minute or so before we get started. So please hang on for a little bit and then we will kick things off. We're waiting for a few more people to jump in here. Okay. I see we have a couple more people logging in here, so we're going to give it another 30 seconds and then we'll kick things off here. All right, well, why don't we kick things off? So welcome to the CMU Talent Insider. Today we have a special guest, Richard Bryant from the Masters of Computational Finance at our Tepper Business School. And we are excited about this program. It's one that is kind of like a hidden gem at CMU, and a lot of people don't know about it. So that's why we have these webinars, so that the employers can learn a little bit more about the program and ask some questions and learn about ways to engage with this program. And it is unique that it is in New York and Pittsburgh. So, and Richard will get into that. Couple housekeeping items. As usual, the way we do this is we'll do the presentation. If you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. We will try to get to them during the presentation, but if not, we did save the last 10 to 15 minutes of our 30 minutes for Q&A to answer any questions that you have. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Richard and let him take over.
All righty, thank you, Jeff, and thank you for joining this webinar. Let's press on to the next slide there, Daniel. Okay, there are pictures of yours truly and our director of the career services, Vishali Gawker. She'll be joining us here shortly, and Daniel's the one pushing the buttons. He resides in New York. Vishali and I are both in Pittsburgh, and there is another career counselor, career counselor here in Pittsburgh, who's not pictured on here. So it's a team of four. There's another individual who handles all the database issues and make sure that the recruiters and the students are well connected through the database. Go ahead and push the next slide there, Daniel. So we're going to be looking very quickly at an overview of the program, the curriculum, career services. I'll let Daniel talk more about that. And employment information. If we have time, we can talk a little bit about the admissions requirements and then of course questions, but I know we have a short period of time to work with. So this is my portion anyway, is going to be pretty quick. Go ahead, Dan. So what is MSCF? I think I'd like to start by saying it was mentioned as a hidden gem by Jeff, but if you're in this space, we are far from hidden. We are very well known. We were the first of its kind when we introduced this back in 1994 as the joint venture between four colleges. And it was very successful, has been very successful, and success in a relatively free market as we have here in the US spawns competition. We've now got lots of competition. This category of quantitative finance or mathematical finance, financial engineering, They're kind of different ways of describing a similar space, each with their own separate kind of emphases, which we don't necessarily have time to get into right now. But this whole category was begun by Carnegie Mellon back in 1994. And if you're in this space, looking for individuals that have a quantitative background for sales and trading, quantitative research developments, strats and modeling, those are all sell-side jobs. Quantitative portfolio management, which is more of a buy-side job. Data science, risk management, which obviously is in those are both buy-side and sell-side. We're very well known for within the sell side, the big investment banks and the hedge funds, the quantitative, not the fundamental analysis, but the quantitative hedge funds. This is a very well-known program. I want to press on, Dan. As I mentioned, this is a joint venture between 4 colleges on our campus. The business school provides a finance application. The Department of Mathematics, through the Mellon College of Science, provides not just the math, but how this math is applied in the area of quantitative finance. I'll get into that when we get to the curriculum slide. Data science provided by the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and then a serious programming thread throughout that's provided by the Heinz College. Next slide there, Daniel. So what is the difference? Well, it is a custom curriculum. So unlike some of our competitors that have a few core courses and then the bulk of their curriculum is made up of a wealth of electives that are drawn from other colleges on the campus and are not related to finance. So you might be taking stochastic calculus, you might be taking time series, some kind of a programming course, but they're not specifically designed for the industry. Our courses are designed, all of them are designed exclusively for this limited number of career paths that our students pursue when they graduate from our program. So it provides a lot of focus, both breadth and depth. And it's been a very strong curriculum, and our recruiters have found our students to be very well prepared for the jobs that they're looking to fill, and they keep coming back for more. So that's important to us. In fact, when Dan gets into talking about career services, my focus, I've been with this program now for 21 of its 27 years. From the very outset, I knew that we would continue to attract top students to this program only to the extent that we were able to provide them with really top jobs coming out of the program. So they're very well prepared. They do very well, and our recruiters keep coming back for more. So it's been a virtuous cycle, if you will. So we've got these 4 colleges working closely together to develop a custom curriculum that's designed specifically for the needs of the quantitative finance industry. The third bullet here, from the very beginning, and this is not surprising given Carnegie Mellon's reputation, it had a strong computational focus, programming focus. That was a unique advantage for many years as the industry has more and more moved into the sweet spot of our program, that is requiring more and more computational skills, particularly C++ and Python. Our competitors have moved more into this area as well. So we're not alone now in providing a very strong programming thread throughout the curriculum, but I think it remains actually still stronger than what you'll find with most of our competition. And hardly last but least, this 4th bullet point, 15 years ago, we brought in the Tepper School of Business. The Tepper School of Business was one of the founding partners back in 1994, but in 2006, we tasked their communications faculty to teach full-time in the program what they call a presentations course. And for our students, many of whom are coming straight out of undergraduate programs with limited work experience, some with internships, some with maybe 1 or 2 years of work experience, but it's different from an MBA program where it's expected students have 2, 3, 4 years of work experience. 2/3 of our students come straight out of undergrad a very high percentage, 85% are international. So English is not their first language. And a great many of them have never stood up before their peers and presented. Our students do exactly that through this communications development program, which now includes not just Tepper faculty teaching students how to present, but also we have a full-time career coach that we hired 4 years ago that works individually with students and also teaches in the program. I'll let Dan talk about career services. I've already mentioned, though, that it's a high priority for us that our students are well prepared for their interviews, their resumes, know how to handle themselves. And obviously, we want them to succeed on the job. So we want to find a good match, a good fit for them. So let's see, industry reputation. Because we've been at this for a long time and because we have a relatively large program, our target is 95 students each year. We have by far the most alumni in the quant finance industry. The majority of those individuals are in the New York area. And we've done well with the rankings. We're a top program. Next, Dan. So we have from the beginning, actually 1994, we started in Pittsburgh. It was a full-time program. We had 18 students. A great many of them were PhDs that couldn't find, they were physics PhDs that couldn't find a job in academia, and they were finding that their friends were making big money at Goldman Sachs pricing derivatives using their mathematical skills. That was the bulk of our first couple of classes. That's changed a lot since then. But what's also changed is we knew that if we wanted this program to succeed, we needed a footprint in New York. And so in 1995, 1 year after the founding of the program, we started a part-time program in New York. Now, and we delivered the program via live interactive video, which back then it was just handled a whole lot differently, but it was live interactive video with VCR tapes and ISDN lines, and it's changed a lot. But the fundamentals are the same. We have a campus both in Pittsburgh and New York. Our faculties teach primarily in Pittsburgh, but they travel to New York to teach live 2 out of every 7 lectures. That's been on hold for the last year, but we're looking to have everything ramp back up to pretty much normal here when classes begin in the fall. So now our program is all full-time. We don't have any part-time students. And we have an even class that we bring in roughly 50 students in New York and 50 students in Pittsburgh. And it's the same curriculum because it's literally the same classroom. And when our teachers are teaching from New York, they're tied in with the Pittsburgh students who receive it then remotely from New York and vice versa. But it's the same, literally the same classroom. The only difference, and it's a significant one for our students, in Pittsburgh, it's a true college campus. It's where most of our faculty live. And in New York, it's where all the jobs are, and it's where most of our recruiters live. So that's the essential difference. Career services are the same, the education is the same, and we work hard to make it the same social experience. Dan, next slide, please. So let's talk about the curriculum before I move on to let others talk about career services. Let me see if I can move my picture out of the way a little bit so I can actually see the slide you're looking at. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can collapse this. So in August, we begin a series of preparatory classes. Actually, we begin in July. Right now, our students are taking what they call Python prep, and they're doing this remotely. We do that remotely anyway. So they're working with one of our Heinz faculty members right now, boning up on Python. And in August, they'll be on campus to receive preparatory courses in math, in probability, also in programming, finance, and in communications. Our communications coach starts to work closely with them. We have career sessions. Those are actually starting now. Daniel can talk more about that as he's helping students prepare their resumes. So all that's going on in August. and in July. So we don't get much of a break. In the fall and August 30th, we begin with a Python course, our financial data science 1 and 2, which could really mean statistics and probability. Our fixed income course, we want our students to start learning about the products that are being, the markets and the products that are being traded. We want them to know about certainly fixed income options you'll see here, our investments course. They take a stochastic calculus for finance course. Again, this is not just stochastic calculus, but it's how it's actually being applied on the street. A machine learning course, and one of our 2 communications courses that are taught by our communications coach. That takes place in the fall. In the spring, financial computing 2, we start teaching C++. Financial computing 3, it's and financial computing 4, using libraries, helping students again learn how to code. There's coding actually throughout the curriculum. A lot of coding in our financial data science classes, and even in our options class and time series class. Stochastic calculus 2, simulation methods for pricing options, financial time series, risk management. We have a required summer internship, which allows students to apply their in-class instruction. And then in the fall, by the way, all of these courses are required. And when we get to the fall, we get to some elective courses. So if they want to move more into the buy side, they'll take the asset management courses. If they want to move more in the sell side to be a quant, a true quant, if you will, they'll take the advanced derivative models class, gets into pricing exotics and volatility surfaces. Data science in practice, our financial engineering is a capstone course, which involves case studies and presentations. Financial computing 4, machine learning. Capstone is another course that involves presentations, and here's an actual project course working with outside recruiters. And in fact, if you're interested in that course, let me know. We are still working with firms to work with us in our fall capstone project course. Financial optimization, algo trading, and macroeconomics are all in the fall. What's the next slide, Daniel? Let me see if I'm still supposed to do some talking here. Nope, looks like it's for you, and hopefully I haven't usurped more of the time than I should have. So back to you, Dan.
Excellent. Thank you, Rick. Hi, my name is Daniel Noon, and I'm the career coach based out of New York City. We have a counterpart in Pittsburgh. Her name is Ashley Cross. And then our director who is on this call is Vishali Gakar. And we have an assistant director of employer relations, Quita Welch, who manages all the relationships with our recruiters. She schedules on-campus recruiting, corporate presentations, and all partnerships with employers. We are a lean and mean team of 4, and we like to think of ourselves as kind of a concierge service for recruiters. So however you're looking to engage with our students, we're happy to accommodate that to the best of our abilities and make it a really unique approach for each firm. As Rick mentioned, there are 2 campuses, and it is an equal opportunity in career services. We do have on-campus recruiting on both campuses, and our career services are the same. And something that we've learned throughout the past work from home situation with COVID is that we were able to actually integrate the 2 campuses more in our career services offerings. So we do have weekly career cafes where all the 4 members of our team speak with students about any questions. We do a lot of checkups. We're a very high touch team. So it's a policy of ours to be in touch with each of our students bi-weekly. So we have a good pulse about where each of our students are in their career search, what their goals are in their career search, and how we can support them and help them with their career placement. As I mentioned, that personalized support. So career coaching, resume writing, interview preparation, recruiter feedback. So after on-campus interviews, we do ask that recruiters share their feedback. And once our student completed 3 interviews with different firms, then we start to look at the trends and give them some constructive feedback on how they can improve their interview process. We do corporate presentations. Majority of those corporate presentations are in the fall due to the recruitment cycle of firms. Investment banks, they like to get earlier and earlier. And as Rick mentioned, we are working with students currently right now on their resumes because we want to make sure our students are prepared for that recruiting timeline. So originally we were back in August working with students on their resumes, but we saw a change in the industry. We want to make sure that we're putting out the best product into our employer partners. And so we are working with our incoming class in July and prepping their resumes, getting their applications all ready. Lots of networking opportunities for our students, alumni panels. We do have a very large alumni network, and we really do utilize that. We recommend that our students are always talking with alumni in LinkedIn. We have speaker series where alumni come back. In the spring, we have these alumni networking events with different firms where students who are going into a summer internship can meet with current alumni at those firms. And we do student treks. So pre-COVID, we would do a student trek in Boston, New York, and Chicago. Right now, we're reaching out to different firms to check the temperature to see if they are going to be allowing visitors and students to come in for these in-person treks. And so if that is something that you're interested in hosting this fall and your company does have that policy to be in person, feel free to reach out to us. That's a very live planning right now with us. And one more thing to note that is not on this slide is our newly established Quant in Residence program. So we have alumni who are active quants working in the industry, and they act as career coaches for our students, and they help them with technical interview questions and career discernment and really a deep dive into what it's like to work for different firms, both on the buy side and the sell side. So here you will see a chart about the career paths for the class of 2020. So as Rick mentioned earlier, a lot of the students come in with not a lot of experience. And so we see that majority of our students do end up working for the investment banks. They have those technical skills that they gain from this program, and investment banks is a really nice fit for them. But due to our large alumni network, we do see that students do go onto the buy side. We have several buy side firms who come and do corporate presentations or host treks or network through that alumni networking. And so we do see a good amount of placement there as well. There is a small group of students who end up working in fintech because our students are really strong programmers. We do see that some students go into that more computer science, data science roles, but it is definitely not the majority of our students. The class of 2020, I'd just like to share some statistics. 93% were placed. Full-time career search was complete at 3 months, and 100% secured internships. And for this class, the class of 2021, 100% of students had secured a full-time role at 3 months. And we're very excited about this statistic. And again, we hit 100% secured internships. While there is no standard for reporting employment statistics for professional financial engineering programs, we are very transparent about our career statistics and strictly follow the MBA Career Services and Employer Alliances for Specialty Masters. And you can see our employment statistics on our website, which will be shared at the end of this presentation. Here you will see the different job functions that our students go into. So because there is a large majority that go into the investment banks, there's a lot of quant research, strats and modeling, sales and trading. And a few of those are also on the buy side. There is a need for risk management, and we do hear from a lot of firms about opportunities in risk management. We're seeing a growing trend in students securing internships and full-time jobs in risk management. It's not the same numbers as the quant research, which a lot of our students pursue, but it is there. And portfolio management, majority of those students come to our program with some experience, and that's really what the buy side is looking for. And here's a location. So it was probably a smart move to have that presence in New York, because majority of our students do go to work for New York. Even this summer, a lot of our Pittsburgh students are interning in New York, which they're very excited about. And then we'll see other US, Chicago, San Francisco. And we do have some students who go and work in Asia Pacific markets. Here's a sample of our employers. And something I'd like to highlight on this slide, you can look over all the employers that we do work with, but Quita Welch, who is our Assistant Director of Employer Relations, was just nominated and received the Staff Excellence Award for Tepper School of Business. So Quita is a really wonderful person to work with. And I really hope that after this presentation, you reach out to us to see how we can partner, and you will be working with Quita about scheduling a corporate presentation or posting a job or internship on our job platform. Here's a sample of the job titles that our students receive and end up working in. Pretty self-explanatory: the investment banks, portfolio management, the modeling strats and research, risk management, and then again, that data science for the few students who decide to really hone in on their development skills. Here's a general idea of the salaries that our students acquire upon graduation. Just one small thing to note for the minimum of base compensation: those students who do go to work in China or Hong Kong, sometimes those salaries are a bit of an outlier, but this is a general idea of what our students secure for full-time and internship. And here's the students that I'm currently working with, and we're onboarding. We're really excited for them. It's quite a large class. You'll see 56 in New York and 52 in Pittsburgh. This average GRE scores, you'll get a general idea of just the level of student that we have. They're very bright students. You'll see on the undergraduate majors, majority are mathematics and statistics from top universities throughout the US. And then we have a few engineering, economics, and yeah, another thing that I'd like to note is that we have quite a large population of female students, which we're very proud of. In an industry that has been male dominant, we're seeing a lot of female students come in, and they are quite successful in the employment statistics, and we're very excited about that.
Hey, Daniel, one of the big things I know with a lot of companies is their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. I think that's great with the the women in the program. Do we have any more statistics, or are there other initiatives to help with employers who are interested in diversity hiring?
Excellent. Really great question. So I actually just got off a call this morning with Bank of America, and we are very aware as a program that firms are looking to hire and increase their diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is something that we are very aware of as a program. We are working with admissions, and we are in the near future going to have a couple events and partnerships with different firms to really promote the quant finance industry in the undergraduate population, so that students can learn about what a great industry it is, the lucrative roles that they can acquire, and they can learn more about our program and the recruiting partners that we have. So this is something that we are actively pursuing. So thanks for asking, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
I should mention too that our admissions is actively working with the HBCUs, and we have a number of different strategies as we're attempting to increase our application pool with URMs.
Terrific.
It is a challenge. It is a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. It's a challenge to recruit. Programs like ours, even as it's a challenge for the firms to recruit into their companies. But we're very much focused upon it, as Daniel has said.
Thanks, Richard.
And so, Rick, would you like to go over admissions criteria? I know we're running on 12:30, but this is just a general overview of what we look for in our students in admissions.
Looks like I was muted. They have to have a strong foundation upon which to build. So they have to have lots of math, lots of probability, and a programming proficiency. I don't need to get into the details here, but it's a highly quantitative program. So obviously you need a strong foundation. It has to be a good fit with the industry, and there's certain personal qualities that they need to have. So that's what we look for. Let's press on.
And here's a slide about how you can engage with us, our email and our website. There's a lot of information on the website. And as I mentioned, we do actively update all our employment statistics.
Terrific. Hey, I have a quick question. I hope maybe one of you can answer regarding capstone projects and engagement. I know you had mentioned that for the fall, you still have some opportunities. So if I'm an employer, and I'm guessing there's several on the line right now that would be interested in doing this, how would one go about doing that in terms of engagement?
I would follow up with Vishali Gakar, who is the head of our career services area and is working with the individual that works with on the academic side with this. And I believe, Vishali, you're now on the line or you're in the chat.
I am here, yes. Quickly like to introduce myself. I'm not going to take too much time. My name is Vishali Gakar, Director for MSCF Career Services. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to working with you. And I just pasted my email address in the chat, so I hope I get a lot of emails.
Terrific, terrific. And also, Danny, one thing you mentioned, and I know this is a really popular activity, is the corporate presentations. So are you saying like companies can come in and present to classes? Is that what you mean by corporate presentations? Could you expand on that a little bit? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So for corporate presentations, firms can come on campus, or given the circumstances today, they can do it virtually. And they can either come to Pittsburgh or New York, and then we'll live stream it to the other campus. And so typically these corporate presentations happen after class, so maybe a 6 p.m. time frame. And they can share what they're looking for in students, the hiring timelines. Some feedback that I've gotten from students is that they really like to see maybe alumni join with the recruiter to kind of let them see what it's like and kind of have that candid conversation and really learn about what the process of the interview process is like and what it's like to convert from a summer internship to a full-time hire.
Perhaps we can get rid of the presentation now and just have the gallery.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're just about up on time, but if anybody else has any questions, please put it in the chat. But one of the things I wanted to ask about was the recruiting timeline. Is there, a lot of times some of the programs have a graduating class in December, sometimes in May. Could you let the employers know what the graduation times are, just so they can plan their recruitment for the students in that program?
Absolutely, happy to take that question. So students begin with us in August. When they start in August, they start looking for summer internships, which summer internship recruitment almost goes from July of the year they're admitted all the way till they begin internships. They do their summer internships and come back and graduate in fall. So we graduate a class in December. And that is when they start looking for full-time opportunities.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad I asked that then. Good to know. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Does anybody want to add anything else to the mix here before we turn things off? All right. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us, all the employers. Daniel, Richard, Vishali, appreciate your time. And we will have this recording on our CPDC website. So if you want to go back to it, any of the employers want to go back, they can do that. But if you do have questions, Vishali put her email in the chat. So feel free to reach out to her directly. And if you have any other questions, obviously you have our contact information in the CPDC. So feel free to reach out.
Thank you for the
time.
time.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.